What's going on, guys? It's Ellsworth, and it is E3 time. Uh, E3 is here once again, as it is every year. Uh, and I thought I would make a quick video talking about the Xbox briefing, um, because it is the only. Well, I've seen the Xbox briefing and the Bethesda briefing, and I figured I would make a little video here about what I saw in the Xbox briefing and let you guys know what I liked, what I disliked, what I'm excited for, and what I'm not so much. So, yeah, we will get right into it in just a moment. But before we get into that, I think it's important to remind you guys that these things are all my opinion. You guys can feel free to disagree with whatever. Uh, if you do, feel free to let me know in the comments. And yeah, let's get on with it. So, I've decided to cut this up into little sections. There was a lot to go over, so I'm going to try to burn through them relatively quickly. I want to keep you guys here all day. I'm going to start off with the things that I dislike, then go into the things that were kind of meh, sort of things that were interesting, but I'm unsure of until I see more of it. Then after that, I'm going to get into the things that I liked and loved, and save the best for last. So let's start off with the things that I just straight up disliked. There's not much here, honestly. Um, it's really personal opinion. Uh, it's not so much that I disliked them; it's that I just didn't really care. That being the Forza stuff. I'm not a racing game fan. Never really have been, apart from like Mario Kart and shit. But they did the whole thing with the car. They brought it out, and I'm sure if you're into cars and into Forza, that was probably pretty cool. But for someone like me who doesn't give a shit about either, uh, just wasn't appealing. Um, it's one of those things where if it wasn't in the presentation, probably would have made my personal experience better. But I totally understand why people would love it. The game looked graphically fantastic, just not quite my cup of tea. So, moving on from that, the only other thing that I can say that I really didn't like is again something personal. It was the entire little Minecraft thing they had. I just don't. I used to like Minecraft when it was popular. I mean, I'm sure it still is popular, but I was on the hype train. I can't lie. I'm not ashamed. Uh, but just seeing it kind of, it's one of those things that it comes on and you're just like, all right, hurry it up, come on, make it snappy. But it's understandable why they would want to promote it. If there are other, if there's still people out there that enjoy Minecraft, then good on you. Just once again, not quite my cup of tea personally. And apart from that, honestly, there's not much that I can say that I just straight up disliked apart from those two things. When I get into the next section, there's things that I'll kind of go into a little bit more detail on how I'm feeling about them. But for things that I just straight up disliked, those two uh, were pretty much it, honestly. I'll go in depth about a couple things that I feel like I should speak on when I get there. But yeah, let's just go ahead and move on to the next category, which is the meh slash kind of interesting but unsure until I see more. Um, Starting off in the little meh category, there was a lot of indie games. Um, I guess I should preface this by saying that there was 42 games shown. uh, 22 of them was some level of exclusivity. I also want to talk about the exclusivity at the tail end of the video. I'll bring that up later. But for now, there were apparently 42 games shown. I didn't go through and count. I trust that they probably weren't lying about that. Who knows? But there was a lot of indie games. Now, the reason this isn't in dislikes for me is that I like seeing more indie games personally. I don't play a whole lot of indie games, but I always enjoy, I think it helps the entire industry if indie games are able to flourish. So for me, seeing all these indie games was cool, but I put it in the meh category because I'm sure that there are a lot of people out there that were disappointed who don't enjoy indie games. I encourage those people, give them a chance. But if you don't like indie games, then you don't like indie games. But um, on the tail of that, there was not a whole lot of AAA titles, um, which it kind of gets into the exclusivity a little bit. Um, and how do I word this? I want to talk about this more at the end of the video. For me, these things weren't a problem. I enjoyed the good mix of indie games and AAA titles. Um, but I can see how for some people that wouldn't quite be appealing to them. So I figured I'd throw that in the meh category, even though it was kind of a positive for me. Um, but it's understandable why it wouldn't be. And I'm sure that's pretty much the main criticism I see of people who criticize Xbox is saying that they don't have any exclusive games and this and that. But we'll get into that later. Another thing that was in the kind of meh for me is that the presentation was kind of the same old, same old. Um, they didn't really change much up. Uh, they didn't change much up about the presentation from last year or even the year before, um, which again wasn't really a problem for me as long as they're presenting me with stuff that I want to buy. Then the presentation is not the most important thing for me personally. But if you're looking for something to jazz it up a little bit more, then I could understand why this might be disappointing to you. But again, not really that big of a deal for me. Alright, now here's where I'm going to try to pick up the pace a little bit because I'm going to go through some games that are in the meh category for me. Because again, this gets into they look interesting, but I don't know until I see more. Um, and I'll give like a little one sentence if I can of what these games are and what I think of them. So first off, Deep Rock Galactic. This game looks like it could be awesome, but need to see more. That goes without saying for these. It looked like a four-player co-op. You play as dwarves, and what I'm hoping it'll be is like a little dungeon crawler, like a four-player dungeon crawling game. That could be fun, but again, don't know until I see it. Um, Moving on, the Darwin Project looked kind of interesting. Um, it was like like small battle royale type game where you have like special abilities, fight to the death, kind of Hunger Games style. Um, they kind of shoutcasted over it, which was a little weird, but it looked like it could be interesting. Not really near the top of my list at all, but could end up being good. I'll definitely keep an eye on it. Next, Dragon Ball Fighter Z. The only reason I know that's probably going to be blasphemy for some of you. I know a lot of people are probably really excited for that game. Me personally, fumbling over my words and shit. I never got into Dragon Ball. Probably gonna get crucified for saying that. Just never got into it. It was never my thing. So for me, this game is just not appealing. Um, but for people out there, I'm sure there's a lot of people that are super excited about this. Um, Moving on to Conan Exiles. This game's in the meh category because of the shaky test it had before. They had like a little beta early access test, um, and it was shaky to say the least. Um, People either seem to really enjoy it, but most people seem to kind of not really enjoy it. I'm hoping that they can um, fix things and really polish up the game, and for a proper release. And hopefully, once it gets to that point, the game is a lot better and smoother. But until then, we'll see. Okay, moving on to Black Desert, or Black Desert Online, or whatever. MMORPG. I've seen advertisements about it. Have not played it. I welcome any new MMOs that want to join the console sphere. Um, I would love to play a new MMO, so I'm hoping that this one will be good. Looks very like anime inspired. Um, not really into anime personally. Never got into that either. Um, I mean, I guess Dragon Ball is kind of an anime. Whatever. I'm not gonna get into it. But in the mech category, just because I really don't know shit about it, looks kind of interesting. If they do it correctly, um, then it could be very fun. I welcome a new MMO. Whew, had to stop there and grab a drink. Throat's getting all dry. Anyway, moving on to The Artful Escape. This game almost made it into my likes category because, man, it looks so weird but awesome at the same time. The artistic style they went with is beautiful. Looks really, really good. It's like I just don't know what it is. Um, it just I have no idea. He's like playing a guitar. Things are appearing underneath him when he plays the guitar, but then it's like I don't know. Honestly, just watch the trailer for it, and you'll understand why I have no idea what the fuck this game is. But until I see more, it remains in the meh category. Next up is Code Vein. Code Vein, again, very kind of anime style. Um, am I thinking of the right game? I am, yeah. Uh, It kind of, I don't know. This one just didn't grab me. Um, I maybe if I see more, it will do more for me. But until then, it remains in the meh. Next up is Tacoma. This one's here because they showed you like absolutely nothing. It was like 15 seconds. Uh, I literally have zero clue what this game is. But there was some interesting looking stuff. So I don't know. I don't know why it was even in there with how little they showed. But we'll see where what direction it decides to take. Moving on, we've got a game called Super Lucky's Tale. Um, this one, if I'm being honest, it really doesn't interest me at all. This one kind of teetering on that edge of being in my dislikes. It just looks, I don't know. I'm not the target audience. It's very like it looks like just a straight up kids game. Um, very, I don't know. I don't know what to compare it to, but it looks like something that would have came out in like the original Xbox around the time that like Crash Bandicoot was a thing or something, or a Banjo Kazooie or something. I don't know. I really don't know what to compare it to. Just not quite for me. I love Banjo Kazooie. I don't know why I said that, but um, yeah, this one just didn't interest me. Um, not for me. Moving on to Ashen. Ashen. What the fuck was Ashen? Ah, yes, I remember. Ashen could be awesome. Ashen has a lot of potential. Um, it just it looks very heavily Dark Souls inspired. Um, the storyline, they're talking about the dark and the light, which is kind of the way they're talking about it reminds me a lot of, talking about the fire, and the fire fading from Dark Souls. The combat looks a little bit similar, not that much. The art style is definitely different. There was also, it looked like co-op, possibly. Um, but once again, I'm really looking forward to seeing more of this game. Um, so until then, I'm just gonna keep it low on my radar and just keep an eye on it. But this game has the potential to be really awesome. Maybe because I'm a gigantic Dark Souls fan, but who knows? Moving on to the last thing in my meh category, which is Life is Strange Before the Storm, I think. The only reason this is here is because I have not played the first one. Um, I've been wanting to. It's kind of on my list of games to go back and play. But until then, I just don't really have much of an interest in this game. Maybe after I play it. The first one, I will. I've heard great things, but until then, not really too interesting. Alright, this video is already getting way longer than I wanted it to be. So we're gonna speed right into the things that I liked and things that I loved. So the first things are there was 42 games shown and 22 with some level of exclusivity. I mentioned that earlier. That's pretty cool. I know the 22 with some level. I put some level of exclusivity because this isn't saying that they're going to be exclusive forever. A lot of them will launch early on Xbox. Some of them will just have certain advantages, get DLC early and stuff like that. But still, it's nice, to that's a lot of games, regardless if they're indie games or whatever they are. 42 games, it's quite a bit. Um, but yeah, it was nice. It was nice to see that level and that level of exclusivity as well. Uh, the next thing was also just the diversity of the games. There was a lot there, a lot of different styles, a lot of different types of games, which is really cool to see. There's kind of something for everybody. Um, yeah, I mentioned that a little bit earlier, so I just want to. This video is getting way too long, so I'm just gonna dive right into the games that I thought were awesome. Starting with Metro, Metro Exodus. Metro is a series that I've been wanting to go back and play forever, and this is going to be the catalyst to get me to do so. um, this game looks fucking fantastic. Running on the Xbox One X, which I will get into a little bit later. It looked amazing. Graphically, just stunning, honestly. Really excited for that game. Can't wait. Moving on, Assassin's Creed Origins. This is on here. It's set in ancient Egypt, which is a time period that absolutely fascinates me. I've always loved that time period. I don't know what it is. It just really grabs me. Um, I've haven't played the past couple Assassin's Creeds. Kind of fell out of them, which I was happy to hear that they were taking a little bit more time to develop this one, and it looks like they really did. There's like some cool shit. You can like shoot your bow in air. Um, there's like loot you can pick up. It's pretty cool, man. It looks really good actually. I'm really excited for that, and I'm glad to be excited about Assassin's Creed again. Next up, a pretty big surprise for me was PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds is coming to Xbox. They said exclusively. I don't know if that means forever. I doubt it with such a big game. But that would be a pretty big thing for Xbox if they were able to lock that down. Kind of, I don't know. I have my own thoughts about exclusivity, so again, I'll talk about that later. But really, really, really excited for PUBG on Xbox. Been dying to play it. Can't wait. Moving on to a game that is probably in like my top three most anticipated games. Super underrated. State of Decay 2. If you have not played the first State of Decay, I highly, highly urge you to do so. The game is fantastic. One of the best zombie games I've ever played, honestly. And I've been waiting and waiting and waiting to hear more about State of Decay 2. So I was really excited to see it there. I am so hyped for this game. The only way that I can really, uh, express my hype to you is just to tell you to play the first one. Please. It is so good. Definitely in like my top three, if not top five. Um, yeah, fantastic. Really, really excited for that game. Moving on to a game called The Last Night. Another game that didn't show us much. Was, if not for the art style and the way this game looks, it would have been in my meh category, but it just looks too damn good for me to put in there. I absolutely love the art style. Um, it looks really good. It just appeals to me. Um, I don't know. It just I haven't seen much but that little trailer that they showed. Just go watch it, and I think a lot of you will understand why I'm excited for that game. Moving on to a game that I've been excited for a while. Sea of Thieves. They showed a lot more of Sea of Thieves, which I was really happy about. It looks fantastic. Originally, I was excited for this game, but I am even more excited now. I thought it was just, have ship battles with your buddies, you know? Um, but it is so much more than that. You can actually get off your boat. People are gonna get mad that I said boat. You can actually get off your ship, um, and swim and like go into wreckage and find treasure and shit. I didn't know that you could even get off your boat. So that's pretty cool. They also went and jumped off and got on the shore and started fighting like skeletons with fucking powder pistols and you know what the fuck are they called? Blunderbusses and stuff. It was really really cool, honestly. One of the better reveals I think there. It was really funny. It was great. Had great personality to it. I suggest you watch it if you haven't. Yeah, really looking forward to the game. Moving on to Cuphead, another game I've been really excited for. The art style of this game just it speaks for itself of why I'm so hyped for it. Um, just it looks awesome. It's just old school cartoon style. Look up this game if you have not. Uh, it looks just great. Honestly, it looks so much different than any game that I've ever seen, and it's awesome. Uh, Look this shit up if you haven't seen it already. Really, really, really cool art style. All right, now on to Crackdown 3. This reveal was funnier than I anticipated. I got Terry Crews for it. Not expecting that, but it was very funny. Even before that, I've been anticipating this game. I really love the first Crackdown. Um, didn't play the second one, but from what I heard, I didn't miss out on much. Um, but Crackdown 3, from what I've seen in the past and what I've seen now, it looks great. It looks like everything I really want from Crackdown, and more. So, uh, if you've played Crackdown, you know that there's not much to explain. It's just a fun game. Uh, Moving on, this game was in there was like a little like montage of games that they showed really quickly. I think Conan Exiles I think was in there as well. Um, but Hello Neighbor is it was in this little highlight reel. They really didn't talk about it at all. Well, they didn't talk about it at all actually. It was just in this little highlight reel, like I said. If I could stop repeating myself. Um, but this game looks just fun. It looks ridiculous and fun. If you haven't seen Hello Neighbor, look it up. Uh, there's some really great people out there that have done Let's Plays on it, like Funhouse is one, for example. Free promotion from me, as if they need it. Uh, it just it's looks like a fun little goofy game. Moving on from that, Shadow of War, Middle Earth Shadow of War. Again, a game I didn't play Shadow of Mordor, and this game's gonna make me go back and play it. Um, and I'm happy about that because it's something that I've only heard good things about that game. So it's high time that I go and actually play it. Um, Looks amazing, honestly. Expands on the first one, and yeah, not really much to say there. Game just looks awesome. One of the better ones shown at the event. Next up, Ori and the Will of the Wisps, I think. Ori and the Will of the Wisps. Again, didn't play Ori and the Blind Forest. I actually own the game. Haven't played it yet. This again, gonna make me play it. The art style is beautiful, as the same as the first one. They both look amazing. Um, really excited to actually go back and play Ori and the Blind Forest. So yeah, that's almost it for the things that I really liked. There's just two more things pretty much. The last game, though, I'm sure everyone who watched the presser knows what I'm about to say. Fucking Anthem. Anthem looks absolutely insane. Probably my most anticipated game now. Came out of absolute nowhere. Looks just amazing, honestly. It looks like I've seen a lot of people say this, but it really does look like what Destiny should have been. Um, it looks so good. I can't explain just how good this game looks. Um, Probably yeah, like I said, my most anticipated game, which is surprising because I was not expecting this at all. It kind of blew my mind a little bit. It blew a lot of the other games out of the water. Probably the best thing shown so far at E3. Um, if not that, then the next thing I'm going to talk about. And that next thing is, I'm sure all of you have guessed it by now, the Xbox One X, formerly uh, Project Scorpio. I don't know why I just forgot the name. It just got renamed yesterday. Um, yeah, the Xbox One X seems like they're coming through on all their promises. 4K, 60 FPS. Um, I know there's a lot of people that are gonna say this and that about it. Compare it to a PC, even though it's not a PC, and that's kind of the point. Um, Honestly, for me, this is everything that I want out of a console at the moment. Just give me what I already have and make it way more powerful, and I'm cool. I'm happy, honestly. This thing is it looks great. It's really everything that I want. Uh, like I said, I don't really need, you know, uh, a whole ton of exclusives. I'm about to get into that in a second. But the most shocking thing for me was that it launches at 499 in the US. 500 bucks. That's like what the Xbox One launched for. And this is like way better. I honestly thought that this thing was going to be about like 700, maybe even 800. So I wasn't getting my hopes up too high. I thought it was going to be super luxury. And don't get me wrong, 500 is expensive. That's a lot of money. But for that amount of power and what you're getting, 500 is a fucking that's a deal. That is that is really good, honestly. Oh, another thing that I completely forgot to mention, I don't know how, is that they announced that they're expanding their backwards compatibility from not only 360 titles, but to original Xbox titles as well, which is fucking awesome. This was probably the biggest reaction they got. The crowd went absolutely apeshit when they heard this, and I am also looking forward. I'm so excited to go play some classic Halo 1 and Halo 2. Probably one of the coolest things they've announced. Really good on those guys for really. Xbox knows what the people want, man. Say what you will, but holy shit, they've been killing it. I don't know, man. They've been doing a great job. Shout out to Xbox, man. They're doing great. Another thing to note about it is you would think this console being as powerful as it is, you would think it would be gigantic, but it's actually the smallest Xbox ever made, which is nuts to me. There's some pretty crazy stuff. There's liquid cooling, which is awesome. It's the first time that's ever been done in a console as well, as far as I know. Um, Honestly, it just looks like exactly what I want. So of course it's gonna be my number one thing. So far, it is the best thing shown at E3 in my opinion. There's a lot more to come. Today, as I'm recording this, there will be Ubisoft um, and Sony as well. Really excited to see those as well. I will be making videos. I know I'll be making a video on the Sony one. I was thinking about maybe doing one for Bethesda as well, but if you guys watch that, you'll know why I'm kind of hesitant. Um, E3, I don't know if E3 is actually E3. I don't know if EA's had their presser, but I might do a video on that one as well. Ubisoft, I don't know. We'll see. Regardless, um, I want to take this time now to talk a little bit about exclusivity, and why I really don't think it's as important as people think it is. Now I know, wait a second. I can hear the pitchforks being raised. I can hear the torches being lit. Just let me hear me out, all right? Hear me out. I really don't think exclusivity is quite as important as people make it out to be. I think exclusivity is just kind of something that people hang around in this like stupid console war that barely even exists anymore. But uh, honestly, I don't think exclusivity is gonna make or break a console. Um, it's just if you really think about it, the percentage of games that are exclusive compared to the percentage of games that you play throughout a year, for most people, most of the games you play are not going to be exclusive. They're going to be multi-platform games, you know? So, yeah, it's nice. It can sway people over to one side, and there are some great exclusive games. But to say that if you don't have a certain number of exclusives, you're doomed, I think is pretty ridiculous. Um, it's just, if you think about it, not every game you play on a console is exclusive. The vast majority of them are multi-platform. So really you're choosing between what console you want to play a bunch of multi-platform games on and sprinkle in a couple of exclusives here and there to make you feel like one is definitely better than the other. When in reality, they're really similar. It's just a couple games here and there that, are very good, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm still playing Halo 5 quite a bit. That game has its fair share of criticism, but I still enjoy it quite a bit. Um, that's probably, I still play Gears of War 4 every now and then. Um, that game I just get destroyed in, so I don't play it much. But other than that, most of my games, like I play way more multi-platform games than exclusives. And I think that's true for pretty much everybody. So I really don't think exclusivity is a hill that a console is going to die on. I really don't. Um, while it is important for, getting people to decide on which console to buy, I don't think that exclusivity makes one console definitively better than another. Um, you know, that's just some thoughts. I really don't like exclusivity. I kind of like Valve's approach because they don't like exclusivity either. they, I hold the same views as them, where it's kind of like you're sort of pointlessly putting a game in a prison, essentially. And it sucks that, not everyone can afford to have a PlayStation and an Xbox and a PC, it's not something that everyone can do. Um, so it sucks that, you have a friend that has an Xbox and a friend that has a PlayStation, and, you want to talk to that friend about how good, you think Gears of War 4 was, but they don't have an Xbox, so they have no idea, and they want to talk to the Xbox friend about how good, uh, Horizon Zero Dawn was, but the Xbox friend doesn't have a PlayStation, so they have no idea. Um, it just sucks that, they have to put these games in prison to try to trick you into thinking that one console is better than the other one. Realistically, they're pretty goddamn similar. Um, yeah, you can have a preference, but I think that, I don't know, I think people take exclusivity to be a little bit holier than it is. I really don't think it is the all important thing. It's certainly important, don't get me wrong, but I just wish that people paid attention to something else every once in a while. But yeah, I don't know. That's just some of my thoughts. Um, Overall, honestly, this conference was amazing, in my opinion. I really really enjoyed it. I liked it the first time, but watching it the second time around, it was even better for me. I don't know why or how, but uh, I really, really enjoyed this conference. I think Xbox did a fantastic job this year, and I'm really, really looking forward to seeing what the rest of E3 has to offer. But I think that's going to do it for this video, guys. I have a lot more work to do to make these other videos. Once again, small recap. I really, really liked it. I really enjoyed this conference. Good on Xbox for having a great showing. But yeah, that's going to do it for me, guys. Be on the lookout for my other videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you liked, leave a like. If you want to keep an eye out for my other videos, dropping a subscribe would be pretty cool. But once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I will talk to you guys shortly. And yeah, I'll see you guys later.